What is up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot. I'm Blaiden Kirkdent, joined as always by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Matthew Sponhour and Theo Ash. And today we've got a quite good episode for you. We haven't had NFL news to talk about in a while. It feels like it's been probably since the NFL draft where we've had anything really, really crazy happen. So we have to talk about the Kyle Hamilton contract. The Vikings have been making some trades. The Terry McLaurin deal, I don't think we've talked about since our last episode. And today we're taking a look at playoff teams that made it last year, which ones are going to miss it, and which teams will replace them. But before we get into that, Matt, Theo, how are you guys doing on this beautiful Wednesday evening?
We drafted the 32-team fantasy league the other day. How did you guys feel like you did?
I don't feel like I did as good as last year.
I don't think that you did either, if I'm going to be completely upfront.
But I have a lot of optimism for my team. I do. That optimism is misplaced, but
I think it's good to be optimistic, just like in general in life. I don't think it makes sense to be optimistic about the team that you drafted. Maybe that's too negative and I'm just razzing you. You did draft. Run through what you drafted.
I'll run. Do you want me to go in pick order or team or just the team?
Just the team.
Just the team. Quarterback is Cam Ward. Running backs are Jonathan Taylor and James Conner. My wide receivers are Rashad Bateman and Isaac Tesla. My tight end is Harold Fannin. My flex guys are Devin Neal and Tylan Wallace right now. My kicker is Younghoe Koo. I don't know if it's Younghoe or Youngho. I never know how to pronounce that. And then my defense is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Which you drafted in the 4th round, which was crazy.
Look, we got to a point where a lot of receivers were off the board, right? Because I went running back early. And I didn't feel comfortable with any of the receivers that I wanted at that point. I was like, I'd rather have a great defense. I get that it's PPR and like maybe that's a mistake, but
I don't think the scoring difference between the best and the 10th best defense is worth probably the 5 rounds of difference personally. My real concern, though, is that you have very old running backs, and if one of them goes down, you don't have any handcuffs, and it can be pretty tough. But I think Ward could be all right.
Man. Respect it.
He made the roster, no?
He did. Restrepo did not.
Restrepo did not, who you had in your starting lineup. So it's tough. I'll run through my team real quick. I got Dak.
Yeah.
I went light on running back, so I have Giddens and Chris Rodriguez. I just figure in PPR on a 32-team league, you have to be bad somewhere. So I basically went all pass catchers until I couldn't anymore. But I've got Neighbors, Ridley, Njoku, Higgins, that is Jaden Higgins, and Josh Palmer in my starting lineup.
So I like
decent about it.
I think you've got a pretty solid team.
I got a solid team. I got Dak for the 3rd year in a row. He's my guy.
You got Dak in a row?
I don't know. You're going to be bad somewhere, but I just feel like having those two as your starting running backs is really going to bite you. Like that could just be 0 points the whole year, those two.
I don't think it'll be a goose egg.
0, but
who do you have? Your strategy was really interesting.
Run through your team, Theo.
Well, I've got Mahomes, and I've got Brees, and I've got Javonte Williams, and I've got Xavier Worthy, Jake Bobo, Mike Gesicki, Austin Eckler, Tez Johnson, Andre. How do you pronounce that, Blaiden? Do you know Andre, the Browns kicker? Zmit? I don't know. I took him and Dustin Hopkins because I knew that they were in the battle of mid to win the kicking situation in Cleveland. Yeah. But anyway,
dude, yeah, don't ask me how to pronounce that. I just realized who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
They cut Hopkins, so I dropped Hopkins and stuck with the backup. And then I got the Raiders defense. Minshew is on my bench as the backup.
You got to have a quarterback handcuff.
And then Keaton Mitchell, Jalen Royals, Jalen Lane, and Austin Hooper.
See, you have multiple like potential zeros in the lineup as well. They're just not at the same position.
Wide receiver 2, the wide receivers.
You're gonna have bad players on a 32 team.
That's
just how it is.
That's just
the
my,
thing
my
about
strategy.
the receiver though is like I think these guys will be on the field. Like I don't know if Jalen Lane is going to get targeted or Tez Johnson is going to get targeted, but
that's that's kind of my thought process too, Theo. Is it's like even the 5th wide receiver on a team will see the field probably more often than the 3rd running back on a team.
I mean, you could be in a 12-team fantasy league, and the bench running backs are getting to be, you know, the worst players on any roster, right? They just don't work out. Players that get drafted in the last couple rounds of a normal fantasy draft, like those running backs are risky. Like they do not score that many points. There's a huge variance in you know, from guy to guy. Like you get some real busts there, and like living off of that for like your starting lineup and running back for running backs. I just didn't want that to be me.
I don't think that's any different than taking a risk on like a Jake Bobo.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think there's more paths to get on the field with receiver. There's 3 starters instead of 1.
Yeah, but running backs are rotated a little bit more, and there's 6 receivers on a roster.
Did you make the playoffs last year, Matt?
No, I had both.
But that's because Dak got hurt.
Yeah, that's because my first 2 picks ended up on IR, and I didn't get relegated.
It was Collins too. Yeah, Collins and Dak.
Collins. Yeah.
Damn, that's
so you're kind of doubling down. You're doubling down. You're saying that was a good strategy, and you got unlucky.
I mean, yeah, you lose your starting quarterback. I mean, if Mahomes goes down, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Jalen Hurts had gone down for me last year, like I would not be back in the major league.
No. So I guess that's fair. But
I was 3rd place the year before. So
true.
Who are what did you do the same strategy? Have you been the same strategy all 3 years to wait? I
don't think that there's like, you have to go running back next. I don't think the positions just matter that much. You're gonna be bad somewhere. The idea that like Tez Johnson inevitably will outscore Chris Rodriguez, and I'm saying this as someone I like Tez, right? Like anything could happen. Maybe Jake Bobo's the breakout guy. Maybe Taylor goes down and all of a sudden Giddens is super important at work. Like, you know, throwing that stuff out, I totally think that like the positions are not that big of a deal. So some years, if it was a running back that I thought was the best pick, that's what I would do. But in general, I think the higher scoring players are the receivers. And I'm going to load up on receiver and then just be bad at running back, where if I load up and I get my running backs and I get receivers after that, like I'm going to be, I don't know, like sitting there with guys who are 5th on the depth chart and might not see the field all that much and probably won't score all that much either. I just don't think the floor is that high for wideouts unless they're on like a really crazy team.
Yeah. I mean, you are projected to score 100.
A lot of wide receivers, though.
You're projected to score over 100, Matt, so I can't really quibble with it. Blaiden, you're projected to score 87.
Hey, that's pretty good.
No.
I'm projected to lose week 1 and probably week 2 and week 3.
My strategy more than anything was guys with high I know this is going to sound stupid, but like high floors and high ceilings. So like Neighbors probably has a pretty decent floor just because he'll get targeted so much, assuming health. But if the quarterback play is better, like maybe he just puts up more efficient numbers on a crazy target share, and that's how he breaks out. Ridley, it's like he's the number 1 receiver there, but if Ward is good, then he could get a huge target share and be really important. Same, I would say, with like Njoku, who I think is pretty solid, but like, you know, if the Browns started, he's, you know, top 5 in points per game for tight ends when he's been healthy the last 2 years. Or like Dak. Feels relatively safe if he plays as a QB, but we've seen him finish as like quarterback 3 in an offense that throws a lot. So those were the type of dudes I was targeting. But it is kind of obvious advice, I guess, to be like, I wanted guys who could not be too bad, but also could be really good.
Yeah. I got a trade request immediately after the draft ended.
Mm-hmm.
Achane for Jonathan Taylor, 1-for-1.
Achane is like gonna miss week 1, right?
That's
it's like banged up.
Like, no, it's like I was like, no, like there's no way. And also he didn't have anyone else that I was like itching for. So the only thing I really am sort of kicking myself for is I don't really have a great tight end on my team.
Got to be
trust Fannin, bro.
I do trust Fannin. I'm happy to have Fannin, but like I kind of
he's cooking in preseason.
He has been. So
Goat.
I'm not too upset about that.
Do we want to move into the news?
Let's talk about the news. And I want to talk about the Kyle Hamilton deal first, because people are roasting me on Twitter for saying that this is one of the biggest steals in the NFL right now as far as contract.
That's not what they're roasting you on Twitter for.
Look,
Yeah.
I said that I would have gladly made him the highest paid non-quarterback if necessary. If he walked into the room to contract negotiations and said, "Look, dude, you give me $45 million or I walk at the end of the season," I think there is no way I would feel comfortable letting a guy who is easily the best safety in the NFL, definitely a top 10 player in the NFL, under 25, single-handedly changed your defense last year. I think you have to pay that guy no matter what.
I don't know if I would pay him $45 million a year, but he's a great player.
I mean, you would never make him the highest paid player because, like you said, he's the highest paid safety ever at $25 million. You're not going to almost double that.
They wouldn't offer that. They wouldn't be like, "Here, dude, you can be the highest paid non-quarterback."
Right, you'd get priced out.
But if he asked for it, I think they would have a hard time being like, "Dude, no."
I think, yeah, your take is that he's just as valuable as anybody, but because of the precedent.
I just don't see why this has to be like some insane take where it's like, I'd give him $70 million. I think he's well worth the contract. I think he's awesome.
I think he's equally as valuable as TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons.
He is not equally as valuable as Myles Garrett. That is insanity. Look, dude, I'm on board with take the good players in the draft. Positional value can be overvalued, but he's not as valuable as Myles Garrett. I would trade him, take out age, but even with age, I'd trade him for Myles Garrett if I were the Ravens in a heartbeat.
It definitely flies in the face of thinking in the NFL, which has always been like quarterback first, guys get the quarterback second. That's how it is now. That's how, if you listen to interviews with old coaches and old GMs, like that's what they would say. Like having the best edge is a nice thing. It's a nice thing. Having the best safety, I don't know. I mean,
but
Hamilton.
It's not just that he's a safety. I mean, he's such a utility. Like he's such a chess piece. Like I just don't know.
Is Garrett not?
I mean, he absolutely is. I mean, you can line him up pretty much anywhere on the defensive line. He's a mismatch against anyone. But when you have a player where, first of all, he can line up basically anywhere on the defense, and so he can, he's a utility force in that sense, but also you feel perfectly comfortable lining him up at free safety and trusting him to potentially be the first one to the football on outside run plays, because he sees things develop quicker than anyone else and can, even lining up 15 yards off the ball pre-snap, can still be at the line of scrimmage before someone lining up 5 yards off the ball. I just think that's just as valuable as what Garrett can do.
There's just no way. You think if the Browns replaced Myles Garrett with Hamilton, they did a 1-for-1, that they would be as good defensively.
The Ravens defense is better.
And that's not my question. I'm saying if the Browns replaced Garrett with Hamilton, the Browns defense would be as good or better.
Yes.
That's psychotic.
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
No way. Absolutely no shot. Is it as important?
I don't think they would be as good.
I think I like Hamilton, but he's not the best player in the NFL, and he's not as valuable as Myles Garrett.
I didn't say he's the best player. I think he's a top 10 player in the NFL, hands down.
Do you think that
do you think edge rushers in general are more valuable than safeties?
I mean, I would.
The answer has to be if the answer is no.
It's more complicated than that because Kyle Hamilton is more than just like a safety. It's just positional labeling. But like Myles Garrett and TJ Watt are more valuable than like Jesse Bates.
So why is Myles Garrett a better player than Kyle Hamilton? Or would you have put Kyle Hamilton over Myles Garrett when we were doing our top?
Yeah, or why would you be opposed to trading Garrett away? Like you wanted the Browns to sign Garrett, but if every position is, kind of equal, wouldn't the move be to trade him away? Like, why would you pay the edge $45 million or whatever it is? Like,
well, it's not that every position is equal. You're not going to find a 1-for-1 replacement for Myles Garrett. You're not going to find, like, you're not going to be able to say, well, I guess we'll just trade away Myles Garrett and get, a Kyle Hamilton equivalent.
But edges are so highly paid compared to the other positions that Garrett, you're overpaying every edge. Like the Vikings, for example, are saying we don't want to pay a corner, right? We think the optimal team build can happen without corners. Like, would that be with Myles? Like, we think the optimal team build can happen without edges. They're just not that they're not actually the second best position after a quarterback to have.
I don't know if that would be, and I don't know what I'm not trying to make like an optimal team build take here. It's not even necessarily a take about positional value in general as much as it is.
It is. It totally is a take about positional value.
It's that Kyle Hamilton is so good that he sort of usurps positional value altogether.
But then,
that's a lot of usurping.
But then why wouldn't he be the best player in the NFL to you then?
He's pretty close to Blaiden.
He very well could be.
He's pretty
no, okay, but why is he not actually that? Not just like, well, he's close. Okay, but why wouldn't he?
I don't know what I would need for him to do to be considered the best player in the NFL, pure and outright. I mean, there's like Mahomes, Allen, Lamar are definitely in that conversation for best player in the NFL. Garrett's in that conversation. Jamar is in that conversation. Jefferson's in that conversation. And then it's Kyle Hamilton. But like those are like the guys who I would consider.
Kyle Hamilton to you is so good that he plays one of the less valuable positions, but is worth as much. Or in this case, you're saying you'd make him the highest paid non-quarterback. If I
had to do it, I would.
Well, then everyone's paying the max that they have to.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I would not feel uncomfortable paying Kyle Hamilton $45 million a year.
I definitely agree with you that he is a bargain. He is a bargain at $25 million.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's an insane price.
He's a bargain.
There are 31 players in the NFL, 31 non-quarterbacks making more than $25 million a year.
You're not saying that he's a bargain at $25 million. You're saying he's worth the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. That is different.
Over.
What'd you say?
It would be over 41 million would be that price tag.
Sure.
If he came into, if I were the Ravens GM, and maybe this is why I'm not a GM, if Kyle Hamilton walks into my office and slams his hand on the desk, $42 million where I walk next offseason, not budging on it, no matter what. Okay.
I don't think that's how it like really works though. So if Myles Garrett
you'd have to say no.
thing,
you'd have to say no.
Okay. At what point would you say no to Kyle Hamilton in that scenario?
I think my ceiling would be 45. I think my absolute ceiling would be 45. But like,
he is a nice player.
Even at that point, there's no way you could replace him. There's zero chance, I think.
He's a nice player for sure. I just think that being closer to the ball as a defender does give you a little bit more of a opportunity to direct the game. But I feel you in that I'm dubious of the positional wage scale right now. I'm dubious that quarterbacks should be getting paid as much as they are. And I think that does extend to edge rushers.
I was looking at the contracts list today, and it's like the top, what is it, 15 guys are all quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's
there's a lot of them making more than 20% of the cap right now.
I'll be real with you. I think this offseason has made me feel the other way. I get why the quarterbacks are paid so much. There's like literally some years there's just like no way to get one.
There's no way to get one, but like there's just not that many that have won the Super Bowl with a contract like that. Like literally Mahomes is the only one to ever win a Super Bowl, making that's a 15% of the league's cap.
Well, that's a dubious stat because of like renegotiation, because they push money into the future. I can't think of the word off the top of my head for whatever reason. But like, and also like the Rams traded away a QB and took on a bunch of dead money, and the Lions traded away a QB and took on a bunch of dead money. So the Rams were paying like a ton of money for a QB, but it technically wasn't all going to Stafford. And Mahomes has won a bunch of Super Bowls, and the Eagles paid Hurts, you know? So I think in recent years, and Brady was paid, but he was like just under whatever that mark is. So that starts to get to like actually every single QB in the 2020s has been paid. When is the last time that a cheap QB won it all? Well, Brady took a pay cut and Mahomes was on a rookie deal, but that's Mahomes.
Yeah.
But
well,
it's
Brady
been
did it on his rookie contract.
Right. I'm talking like, so when's the last time that it's happened? It's been, I guess, Nick Foles when Wentz was on his rookie. And like, obviously it's super good to have Wentz on a rookie, but I just don't think it's very practical for most teams to like, you know, as much as we've talked about it, I just think if you're able to push the money into the future and just be aggressive now, you're better off keeping the quarterback and trying to figure it out. Like even the contracts where like, I don't know, I'm looking at Goff at the moment where it's, I don't know, like is Goff that level of guy? The answer might be maybe no, but if they had dug their heels in, somebody would have traded for Goff and they would have been horrible last year. Now they didn't win the Super Bowl or anything, but it's hard to argue that like paying Goff really did them in or anything, right? They would have had to hit the we probably won't be competitive button, and they chose not to. And the defense, you know, fell apart, of course, but they're still considered, I'd say, one of my 5 top contenders, in large part because they chose to give Goff a big bunch of money, even if it's probably a little bit more than like he truly, I don't know, truly is worth, right? So I kind of started to disagree with that. I think there's sort of a new reality in the NFL that has made the hypothetical like day we get to the big QB contract that's like not really worth it. It still will happen. I mean, there's a couple of guys that we can eyeball right now, but in general, when the 12th best QB gets like 20% of the cap, I kind of think I'm on board.
No way. The 12th best quarterback getting 20% of the cap is a disaster, I think. Like, I think when you can tag them, when you can, like...
But you can't tag them. That's not a real option. They'll hold out.
Yeah.
And then you have to say, we won't be good. Because here's the issue. You talk about Kyle Hamilton being irreplaceable. You don't need to replace Kyle Hamilton to have a good defense. There are good defenses out there that do not have Kyle Hamilton. There are not good offenses that don't have a quarterback. Doesn't exist. So if you say, I'm not going to pay Jared Goff, fine, but then you have to have the alternative. And we saw this year, there were maybe 2 really strong, truly strong options. It was trading for Geno Smith, and it was picking Cam Ward first overall, maybe Darnold, but that's a big risk. It's tough to downgrade at QB and stay competitive.
Yeah,
so I mean, you have to.
You want the quarterback, right? You want to keep a Jalen Hurts around, even if he's the 12th best. And you're right that there is this ramp up period. You pay them, and like Hurts's deal this season, you know, wasn't that much. It wasn't 20% of the cap. It was like 7. And you get these years as it ramps up to eventually 20 when you can restructure them. But I don't think we'll ever see it. I think your window is closed if you're paying. If it gets to the point when that 12th quarterback is making 20%, if there's ever a time when the restructuring runs out, like I don't think that is good. I don't think that's good. Like, you have to directly be as valuable as where you rank on the team in salary, I feel like, for that season. So like when Purdy is, the 50th highest paid player on the 49ers, life is pretty easy for him. There's going to be a point during his contract where he's first by far. Like that day is coming. It's going to be a lot different. And I don't know. It's a tough question because, like, can you finagle some things? Teams have been able to do it, and
they'll restructure them. They'll add flip and void year.
Well, that's not like it is the same as like giving up a first round pick to go get a good player. It's indefensibly like not great value. It's almost like the NBA now, where you push your chips into the middle. You have to be aggressive. If everyone's going to restructure, you have to be aggressive. So like, eventually Jalen Hurts will be getting paid a bunch of big money, right? And that'll be bad. It'll make it harder for the Eagles to win the Super Bowl, as is true for every quarterback, even like the top 3 guys that we think are the absolute best, right? But the alternative is you don't have a QB most likely. So would you rather have the ramp up period with the QB and then have some tough years, 2 or 3 seasons where maybe they're making a lot of money, but you go all in on a window? Or would you rather try to replace your quarterback in the middle of your team's window? Obviously, you would rather just keep the QB.
Or how about this? Keep the ramp down period. Like, I feel like a lot of quarterbacks get extended before their contracts are over. Like, what if you just didn't extend their contract? Because Hurts probably would have been still under contract. Like, Goff would have still been under contract. They hold out.
They don't. It's they'll just not play. If I was a QB and I was the 12th best quarterback, why would I suit up? And it was time for my extension. Why would I suit up? Why would I do it? If I'm Brock Purdy and I'm making $90,000 or $900,000 a year and I have a chance to make $50 million and you have to sign me or the season is completely dead, why would I play? I would.
Because you know that you were the last pick in the draft and you did fine.
Well, it is sort of a double. It is sort of this like double-edged sword if you're an NFL front office, where number one, if you don't sign your quarterback like before his deal is up, he's going to hold out. And number two, all these contracts are backloaded to oblivion anyway, and so it is oftentimes cheaper to just pay them than it is to let the deal ride out. Like, you end up saving money against the cap for the next season to just extend them.
Like, the reality, how often would this statement be true? If we let insert 12th best quarterback here walk, we will be bad at quarterback next season. Probably like 80% of the time at least. If we are bad at quarterback, we will not win the Super Bowl. True, like 90% of the time. It's the same thing with the NBA, where their teams go all in and they have to extend their guys because they have to keep the core together. And then they eventually get to a point where like they're kind of paying dudes maybe a little bit more than they're worth. The Celtics give Drew Holiday a big extension to keep him happy. But because Holiday has a ton of leverage in that situation, because if Holiday walks, you can't really replace him, he gets to have a portion of the contract where he'll definitely be winning. You can't win at every moment of every contract without choosing to let like so many of your good players walk. And it's just not acceptable if you're Philadelphia or if you're the 49ers or whoever, especially when you're in the middle of like trying to win a Super Bowl.
I got a super team at all times. I'm never giving my quarterback a cent. They're playing for free with my super team to get their next contract.
They're paying
some sucker team. They're paying me for the opportunity to play with my super team because I'm not giving Dak $60 million. I don't know. It's always been interesting to me, and there's not a lot of. I don't know. It's definitely getting harder because all the quarterbacks are getting this money. So like, it doesn't really matter the hypothetical non-payment because they're all getting it.
They're all getting it.
But like, I don't think the Commanders did a bad thing letting Kirk walk, so I think more should take that approach. Eventually they ended up with Daniels instead of paying Kirk.
But they were bad for a while, man.
Yeah, they were, but they would have been mid the whole time if they had Kirk.
And they might have still ended up with Daniels. Who knows?
Yeah.
But speaking of the Commanders, they finally got the Terry deal done. The duo is back in business, and he's making more money per year than Kyle Hamilton.
I'm not shocked by this deal. I mean, we talked about it before. You have to bring him back. It's a 3-year, about $30-ish million a year extension. That's about right. There may come a point in time when Terry is 33 and that deal isn't quite worth it if he regresses on some level, which you might expect. But the other option is don't have serious receivers and I think virtually punt on this season. If you're just going to be like, we're going to be bad at wide receiver this year, that's our new move. No, you can't do that. So I think it's a perfectly fine deal, and I'm not super shocked it got done, I guess. But I understand why Washington had some hold up. He is older.
He is, and that's yeah. But it's just a deal they had to get done.
Yep.
Like you just need to have your receiver quarterback duo together there. Theo, do you think the Packers are going to trade for Micah Parsons? Do you think that's going to happen?
No. The Packers keep beating us in the playoffs. Let's trade them Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones right now, apparently.
I have a hard time.
How can we get past these slippery Packers? How can we get past these slippery Packers? What if we give them Micah
Parsons.
and we get draft picks?
That's so true.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's going to happen. When Dak and Micah both play together, the Cowboys win like north of 60% of their games. Like they're right there in the tier with the Packers in the NFC hierarchy with those stars, with that big three, including CeeDee Lamb. Like, why are you blowing that up when Dak is the highest paid quarterback in the league? Like, you're not going to rebuild. Like,
well, that's exactly why you blow it up. You're paying the QB already. It's over.
It's over.
You
right?
may as well give up.
Trade Dak in that case. Like, don't give away Parsons.
Yeah, dude.
Parsons is the guy that you need to make sure that the next quarterback making pennies can succeed. You need Parsons.
You're not planning this right. All right. You get Micah, I get Dak. Everyone wins.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Dallas.
If that's Dallas's plan, they should trade everybody, and then I can maybe understand it. It's like, all right, well, this is clearly just not a team that's going to win 4 playoff games in a row or whatever it is. So we're just trading everybody and we're rebuilding with like a boatload of picks. But like just trading Parsons keeps you at this 500 range and if you're at that range, what you should be doing is looking to make a trade for someone like Micah Parsons. So I the only sense that it makes is that if Jerry Jones has just stopped making sense, and if he really genuinely believes it's like 1990 out there and he's about to trade Herschel Walker away or whatever year that was, like he has to be having like delusions of grandeur, which maybe he is having, but that is really the only way I can see the Micah Parsons trade making sense for the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
I'd love it if the Packers got him, though. I mean, they would be sick if they got Micah Parsons. Like addressing wide receiver and edge with Golden and Parsons in one offseason would vault them from like, 11-win wild card team like they were last year to 14-15-win 1 seed, right? Like if they had Micah, they'd be right there.
Their big flaws that they haven't been able to get after the quarterback. So
right,
yeah,
and they haven't been able to catch passes. So like they still need more probably in the receiver room, but like Golden enough isn't like
I think they have enough to be all right. I really do. If Golden's a good player,
wide receiver ones.
6 wide receiver ones. Yeah. I mean, they've been a good passing attack before, but man, like so many of their players have drop issues that I would like to see them, become more reliable across the board, right? I'm not trusting Dobbs out there at all, even if Golden is out there, right? So,
yeah.
But at any rate, like it'll be extremely helpful to have somebody with reliable hands. It'll help them up the pass rate. They were one of the lowest. They were the lowest neutral down pass rate team last year. They were just handing it off to Josh Jacobs so often that it became pretty inefficient. Like if they can get a little bit more of a balance on offense and put the ball in Love's hands on early downs, man, they would have a chance to be crazy elite if that happened with Micah adding to the pass rush. But no, it's just not going to happen. I'm not buying that Micah isn't even in on this, right? Like he's got a podcast. He's an entertainer. Like,
Yeah.
Are they waiting to do this like a day before the Eagles game, or who knows? Jerry said that he wants this to be the soap opera. Like that's his whole MO, is to entertain with the Cowboys, right? Almost treat them like a WWE type situation where like you're kind of introducing guys and like there's all these zany characters and plot lines happening at all time. Now, I don't think it's scripted. I think it's just the way he kind of dresses it up. But that's what I think this Micah
stadium is designed to be this like Coliseum, even though the sun like blinds people
right.
when it enters.
Right. Sometimes maybe this mentality backfires on him, but I think he knows talent, and I think he knows that he needs Micah Parsons to win. And I don't think he's ever been afraid to just, make a big move for a star player. And I think Micah is one of those guys, and I think signing him is the big move to make.
Yeah.
Maybe he thinks it's Herschel Walker, though. Like, again, I don't know. He could be delusional.
He could be. There's never really any way of knowing. We thought the Bengals might be delusional in letting Trey Hendrickson walk, but he's back, baby, for one more year, it seems.
Probably, yeah.
The real question is, so he gets
take one to give the Bengals credit. Hendrickson should not be playing on this deal.
No, they definitely won. They're getting him for $29 million this year, $20 million guaranteed. And then he will be an unrestricted free agent next offseason. And at that point, his value will probably be significantly lower. Just another year older. You're the sack leader over the last, 3 seasons. There's no guarantee you maintain that this season.
I bet you he'll get a big deal. That's my hot take. If he let's say he has another like reasonably good year, someone will take the risk.
Oh, I mean, if he gets 13 or 14 sacks again.
Yeah, it doesn't help him. Maybe he won't get like reset the market quite money because of age, but if he puts together another season, it's like there's just going to be some team that's like, we need a pass rusher. We're so close. I mean, what contract did the Bills give Devon Miller?
Theo, you're not...
What contract did the Bills give to Von Miller? I'm not sure, but it was definitely a huge one.
Like the Rams, the Rams gave like up a second and a third to get Von for half a season. Mm-hmm. Like teams are willing to push their chips in the middle and be aggressive and go all in. If Hendrickson hits the open market, like he's not going to get $15 million. It's not going to be a contract where you're like, there's no risk at all of him regressing and this being a bad deal. That's not going to happen. Although I guess maybe I'm wrong because the Bengals just got him on essentially a no risk deal. But I guess maybe Hendrickson feels good about his odds on the open market. So who knows? But I wouldn't have signed that. It's still overall not good for Cincinnati that they've been fighting and haven't been able to lock him up long term. I mean, I think their defense isn't going to be good this year. And then I think next year, if they can't get him back, then it's going to be even worse, most likely. More than anything, like their issue is really their drafting more than this salary stuff. Over the last few years, they've lost guys, maybe a few more than they should, but they largely haven't been able to replace them because they just haven't been bringing in new talent. But I don't know. It's still not good.
The Bengals are staying the same, and that's bad. I feel like this is a lose-lose because Hendrickson is at the point in his career where he should be valuing long-term security. Like, after this, he's Like, he's basically a mercenary now. Like, it's going to be a 1-year deal in Cincinnati. And then when he does hit the open market, like, people aren't going to want to give him, 3-4 years and sign
If
him
he
until
puts
he's
up another
35,
15
right?
sack season or something like that, dude, I really think a team's going to be like, yeah, we want to give him a 1-year deal, but there's a lot of teams that want to give him a 1-year deal. Would you?
The risk that is being run, like Matt's right. If Hendrickson puts up another season like he has been the past few years, he's fine. The risk of the 1-year deal is he could get hurt.
Right.
Like if he doesn't put up that kind of season, then he's screwed. But like he still like is in control of his own destiny to some extent. It's just now there's a lot more pressure on him to perform.
It's hard not to regress.
Right.
Because you're 30.
Yeah. And you had 17 and a half sacks. It's a high bar. But yeah, I mean, I'm just saying he should be prioritizing long-term security, which he did not get. So I'm sure that he is feeling a little bit disappointed about the deal. And the Bengals are probably feeling okay, like you said at the beginning, Matt, because they're getting him for this season, and they're going to be out for sure, like something closer to too early than too late, which is not a bad way to do things. Like, they drafted Shamar Stewart. They've got Miles Murphy coming up the pipe. Like, there's a backup plan. There's a line of succession that's in place, right? This isn't a disaster for them by any means. It just...
Yeah, they had a backup plan line of succession for Jesse Bates too, and look how
they did.
But this is why their issue truly is just the drafting. They've now spent multiple first-round draft picks on edge rushers since Hendrickson's been there. If they're bad when Hendrickson leaves he'll be 31 years old, the real issue will be that they whiffed on extra edge rushers. And you can give yourself a lot of leeway, and you can be better off if you're the Eagles and you're bringing back like all the right guys and you're pushing money in the future, or you're willing to go spend big and be risky and whatever, or you're not handcuffed by the fact that your owner doesn't have that much money, so it's hard to guarantee. That obviously could make things easier if that wasn't your situation. But if you draft poorly, it does not matter how you handle the salaries. It's not going to be enough. The Bengals, for as bad as they are, had a couple of great drafts, and they became a great team that made it to the Super Bowl and was constantly a contender. And now their drafting has slipped, and they're starting to slip. Their path back is really simple. Start drafting better. It's true for everybody in the league.
Every single team in
It's
the NFL.
the only thing that matters is getting good players.
Yeah, I think there's two parts of it. There's going from terrible to good, which involves drafting well. But then I think the second part of it is going from good to great and good to winning the Super Bowl. And that can't be done without adding vets. And that is what the Bengals haven't been able to do as well. They haven't been able to draft well recently, and they haven't been able to retain like good older talent. Bates is gone. Reeder is gone. I mean, back in 2015, I think it was, they left Andrew Whitworth in the dark. Like, his contract was coming to an end, and they went radio silence on renegotiations. They drafted 2 tackles in the first 2 rounds that season. They drafted Cedric Ogbuhi. Wait a minute, let me read this. I think I botched that. Cedric Ogbuhi and Jake Fisher at 21 and 53. So all of a sudden, Whitworth is like, holy, they're just going to replace me right now. Like, they're not going to sign me. He wrote a letter to the owner to get his attention. Like, hey, am I getting a deal or not? They sent him a 1-year extension. He signed it, played on it, and then he left. Okay, he was old at that point. Maybe they got rid of him, before he was out of gas. But he ended up signing with the Rams and beating the Bengals in the Super Bowl. Right? And that's the risk you run with Hendrickson is, what if you let him walk after this year and he signs with the Ravens? What if you let him walk after this year and he signs with the Eagles, and then you go play the Eagles in the Super Bowl? Like, you know what Howie would do?
That's fair.
He would sign Hendrickson to a 3-year deal, tack on a bunch of void years, right, and keep him around for this run, right? It's going to take more than 1 year to probably get there for the Bengals, and they're just hoping to be the Cinderella story again, which is what's like could happen, right? They could beat the Chiefs. They've gotten pretty close. They could be the Ravens. They've gotten pretty close. they could go on a run. We've seen them do it before, and they got pretty close to winning the Super Bowl that year.
Every ounce of Joe,
but it was
sanity and strength.
You're betting on another Cinderella run, and you have to stop being the Cinderellas at some point, and you have to start being like the big fucking dogs, and they just are not going to be that when they let Hendrickson and Bates and Reeder walk. Like, it's just that simple. So, like, It's good that they got him for this year. It's good that they didn't trade him. Like, they would have had no chance if they didn't have him. And maybe it'll work out. You know, maybe they won't ever see him in a big playoff game, right? Like, it could be fine, but like this whole mindset is just, it's burned them before, and it'll probably continue to burn them. Like, as
they may very well win that Super Bowl if they have Whitworth and not the Rams.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they were starting Isaiah Prince.
Yeah,
who played like 2 more games ever, and then never again. I think we maybe talked about just that on here, but
I guess. And the other part is, if he's on a 1-year deal, like, what would have happened if you traded him before the draft? Could you have gotten an extra first-round pick?
That's really like the best thing for the long-term health was probably to see he's not going to be a long-term piece, and we can probably get like a second. That's what a good team does. A good team isn't backed in the corner because they have no other good players. So maybe I'm underestimating like how much they are shooting themselves in the foot. It's true. No matter how good you are at retaining your best players, if you're not drafting well, you know, you're only going to be able to get so far. They'd still be in a hole, but it can be a bigger hole if you're also letting your good players walk. That's probably fair.
Yeah, they're just very short-sighted. Like you said, Matt, they won the battle with Trey Hendrickson, but they're not going to win the war against the Ravens when he walks and goes and plays for the Ravens, and then the Ravens go and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, or some team.
I see that happening now already. Now that you've said it, Theo, like he's gonna be a Raven in 26, and
yeah, a lot of the contenders just don't operate like the Bengals do. They would have either traded him or extended him long term. This like 1-year thing is strictly what the Bengals would do. That's their way, and maybe like constraints do breed some creativity, right? They've got they can't just go raise a bunch of money or like invest in. Maybe they could, I guess, but like. They just got to get richer, and maybe not.
Maybe there's a certain team, a certain co-host roots for that has some fundraising strategies that are a little bit outside of the box. But you can be in that situation and make it work. The Packers are selling the stocks. I'm a Panthers fan. If the Bengals sold, all right.
Yeah, they could sell the team.
I'd look into it.
They could sell the team to the community and pay him.
Sell the
team. Selling the team to the Cincinnati community will solve the financial. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, Matt. You wouldn't be included in that because you live in Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
It's still the greater community. We're counting it.
You're counting it. You know what's a lot better than the Cincinnati Bengals right now? Our good friends at Chubby's. You know, they were kind enough to send us over some polos from their new NFL collection. And when I tell you they're the most comfortable polos I've ever owned, they absolutely are. And they've got other sports gear too. They've got these mesh shorts, they've got swim trunks, and all with your team's logo on them. Like if I'm going to be screaming at the TV on Sundays, and being a Browns fan, you know I will be, at least I'm going to look good doing it. And here's the thing. Chubby's is the ultimate football apparel brand, so much so, they've created their own fantasy football league. They got George Kittle, Ian Rappaport, and some others come together to assemble the Chubby's League on NFL Fantasy. Each week, the top 5 scorers will win a chance at a Chubby's polo/shorts combo with their team's logo. The grand champion gets a chance at the ultimate fan experience, a 5-city, 5-stadium NFL game tour with a +1. Kind of sounds like what's the thing that G-Fed's doing right now? 100 days, 100 stadiums. Absolutely insane. While the fantasy flop faces a hilarious and unforgettable punishment only Chubby's could pull off. Head to chubbys.com/thechubbiesleague to learn more and have some fun. Get ready for the most outrageous fantasy football season of your life. But the best part about all of this is that our good friends over at Chubby's are giving Stay Hot listeners an exclusive deal where you can get $10 off with the code STAYHOT at chubbysshorts.com/stayhot. That's right. You get $10 off with the code STAYHOT. Grab the NFL collection and get your game day fit right. Let's talk about kind of the Vikings and Panthers injunction here. Adam Thielen leaving the Panthers. Matt, I saw you tweet out you think this is really good in terms of the Panthers' faith in their young wide receivers. I think I have to agree with that for sure.
You got to figure. I mean, I think the Panthers receiving core should be better this year, right? It's easy to say, well, they added a top 10 pick in McMillan, who I'm relatively confident will make an early impact if his hamstring is okay. But I think the news is good about that. But on top of that, they got a lot of young guys who you figure have potential to show growth. I'm not saying it's a guarantee that Leggett comes out and, his hands are way better or that Coker takes another step, but
Sure.
there's obviously the possibility of that. I thought personally what we would see happen is maybe those guys aren't hitting the wild expectations that Panthers fans just kind of assume will happen. And then Thielen gets more reps and everybody's mad about that because they want to see the young guys. The fact that Carolina has said we're good without Thielen right now, for a haul that's fine. It's a 7 and a 5 for a 6 and a 4, basically. That's perfectly good or whatever. But it's not so much where I think they were in a position where they couldn't say no. It's not like they offered a second. It's well, of course we're going to take that. So to me, it shows that Carolina has faith in Coker and Leggett and McMillan and the receiving core as a whole. And that's probably more important than getting some extra day 3 picks or moving up on day 3.
Now, that doesn't mean the receivers are actually good.
Now, the coaching staff could be wrong, but I have some faith that they're not just completely off base when doing it. And Coker's looked really good, so we'll see.
Coker's the main guy where it's we need to move Thielen to get this guy on the field. I feel like it is making me look at Leggett with a big raised eyebrow because he has not had the same kind of preseason and he wasn't as efficient last year. So
I have my concerns about Leggett, and I'll say this. Maybe I've brought it up on the pod before, but a lot of people I see online kind of make this assumption. Okay, worst case scenario, we got our 2 outside guys in Coker and McMillan. I guess assuming Coker pans out to be the caliber of dude, which I'm not low on him. I'm just saying And then if Leggett doesn't work out and the hands don't get right, he can just be our gadget guy. That is where I think people are wrong. My opinion is that if Leggett's hands don't get good, he can't be the gadget guy because he can't turn up field because he has to look in the ball so hard. And that's what's frustrating about him. I think, Theo, I remember 2 months ago you were talking about his yak numbers were really not that great and he wasn't able to do a ton after the catch. And I think a large part of that is if you can't turn up field quickly, it's really difficult to take advantage of any space that you find because things close quick in the NFL.
For sure.
This isn't a shot at Leggett necessarily. I'm just saying if he's going to be effective, he has to be able to catch the ball. There's no we're going to work around that. It's not possible. Not at the level that he was last year, where every catch was a struggle. Now, he had a couple of clips I saw that looked like he was more comfortable, I thought, but whether or not that actually translates in the game, we'll see. So, yeah, I think Leggett's a big wild card. He's a first-round pick who has a massive issue to fix, or I don't know, he won't be a part of the offense.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Thielen was the best receiver on this team last year. He led Carolina in yards, he led Carolina in touchdowns, and he was third on the team in routes. So from an efficiency standpoint, it just wasn't even close between him and the next guy. He caught slants. He was a vertical threat last year. Even he would go across the middle. He bailed them out with some spectacular juggling, catches off tips and one-handers. He is really, really good. So, and Coker was really good as well. He's someone with he was definitely their best yak threat, right? He's someone who can actually catch it confidently and turn up field. And he was their most efficient guy after Thielen. And Leggett had his flat, I'm high on Leggett and the way he's able to move at his size. We saw him make some dominant contested catches. I don't think it's wrong to, what was the other option? You could go with a Thielen, Coker, McMillan 11 personnel, and that might be your best group, right? But you're just giving up on Leggett if you do that. So I can understand not being there with him either. So I thought it was good for the Panthers to open up some space for these young guys. Thielen is a good player, but he's not going to make or break, anybody's season. I don't think he's really good though. Like, and I think he'll do good. And yeah, for Minnesota, who needs a quick Band-Aid because of Addison and because of Jefferson's injury, like Thielen is a really, really good get who can continue to be productive even after those guys get back. So if Hendrickson and the Bengals was kind of a lose-lose where both sides aren't really getting what they want, I feel like this deal is more of a win-win where like the Panthers are, they're probably not going to be as good as the Vikings. They're probably not going to be that good. So unloading a vet for picks is good. And you get to see more of Coker. So that's all good and makes sense. And then the Vikings, they do have high expectations. They won 14 games last year. And they need kind of a quick fix at wide receiver. So I thought this made sense for both sides. It was a little bit much for someone who might be like a 1-year rental and old, but Thielen was so effective last year that I really don't even think so. I think he was good.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a pretty consistently reliable guy, and it's also couldn't hurt to have for your rookie quarterback just another, or I mean, not rookie.
I think so.
It helps.
Practically a rookie. Yeah, I think so. Just having somebody who's kind of reliable and a solid route runner and is doing things on time and stuff like that. Yeah. The Panthers fan base, I think, is a little bit lower on some of the vets in the wide receiver room because we want to see the young guys, and I do too. But I think for what the Vikings need, this is a good get. And then when you have Addison back, like, I don't know. I actually kind of think, I mean, there's an issue with the Vikings receiver depth, even with Addison there. Wide receiver 3 matters. And having Thielen is a pretty nice security blanket. Or if somebody misses some extra time, who knows? So I thought it was a fair move for them.
Yeah, I mean, it would be what? Naylor would be next. Stay hot legend. Shout out. Yeah, and then after that, dude, I mean, it's literally it's Ty Felton, Miles Price, Rondale Moore's on IR. It's so frail. It's so frail. But they do also have Hawkinson, so that's another receiving threat. But yeah, it'd be nice to have all those guys out there. And then, what else was there? I'm totally blanking now. What other moves did the Vikings make? They traded away
Howell, Phillips, Blackman, their corner. It's been interesting. They've been stacking a bunch of day 3 picks. I mean, they didn't have a lot of draft picks last year, so they've got to kind of make up for some probably in the long run, and this is probably their way of doing it. Their corner room is kind of the big storyline right now. It's Byron Murphy, of course.
Yes.
And then it's Isaiah Rodgers and Jeff Okudah and Dwight McGlothern. Yeah, and and Tavier Thomas. And that's it.
That was the big thing that I saw, is that they traded away a corner. I'm like, you guys can't afford to be doing that, man. That continues to be my big concern for this Vikings team. It was a concern before this. As much as I like Brian Flores and as much as he's been able to make do with sort of weak position groups, not even just in Minnesota, but in Miami as well, this cornerback room is so bad. It's so bad.
It's bad, but I do think that Flores can kind of overcome it. I mean, it was bad last year. All right. Like Stephon Gilmore, one of the starters, is not on a team right now. And Griffin, is he on a team either?
I don't think so.
Shaquille Griffin? He is... Okay, he's on the Seahawks. Shout out. But, like, he's not an important player in the league anymore. So what is the difference, really? I mean, this is a team that plays almost no cover one. Like, they just do not... If you are going to be a quarterback dropping back against the Vikings defense, your vision is on pockets of grass in between zones rather than your vision being on a matchup that you like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so many teams nowadays are running over the middle. Like they're spamming crossers, they're spamming digs. If you're playing, quarters and the team is running, some sort of crossing route from a condensed formation, your corner isn't that important to the overall success of the play. It's more on the safeties, it's more on the linebackers, it's more on the pass rush. And I think that's Flores's and the organization's big bet right now is just like, look, it's cover 4 and it's cover 2. If they want to, spam out routes all day and go out of bounds or get tackled, and that's the way they want to pick on us, we'll let them do that. But there's just not a lot of teams out there right now who are playing offense that way. They're trying to cross the middle of the field and get guys the ball on the move.
Right.
So it just doesn't affect them very much. Eyes are on the quarterback. Routes are going away from the corners. Like, as long as the guys can tackle, like, I think they can get away with it.
Yeah. I don't think it's completely unreasonable to expect to not have a super strong cornerback room. And my thought with most of these trades is they had guys that maybe didn't fit what Flores wanted to do as much, or weren't totally necessary, and they said, we're not in a position with the way that we've been trading picks to pass up on, extra draft capital right now.
Right.
I think that was kind of their belief, and it makes like this upcoming season a little bit, I guess less exciting, not really, but you know what I mean. But I think it's a totally fair long-term play. The Howell trade I thought was awesome. I don't think Howell is very good. Howell takes an insane amount of sacks. He's one of these guys who can't deal with pressure, and there's a lot of them. They got a 5th-round pick. No, I'm not mistaking that. If it's the case, it's pretty impressive, honestly. Signing Wentz, I think, is a perfectly fine solution for backup QBs, and I'm surprised the Eagles didn't lean towards that versus going and giving up a day 3. Again, it's a little bit, I don't want to make this out as like stupid Howie Roseman or whatever, but I think that's perfectly fair for Minnesota to do.
It was a 5th and a 7th they got in exchange for Howell and a 6th.
Okay. I'll call it a 5th.
And they signed Carson Wentz.
Right. They got Wentz, who I think is still backup caliber. I mean, he's a little mistake prone. He's a lot mistake prone. He's not a starting caliber QB. We know how it is, but I think Howell is kind of the same way.
Yeah, and they got Max Brosmer, who's had a really good preseason.
Yeah, so I'm impressed by that move. I'm glad they've been able to pick up a bunch of day 3 picks, even if they gave away some to get Thielen. I feel pretty decent about them as a whole.
Yeah, I don't dislike any of these moves. If Blackman was cooked coming off the ACL, it's probably good to get something for him now. Where did you
have the Vikings in your power ranking that you were doing, Theo?
So I had them at 20, and
wow,
I get the thing that will sink them, I think, isn't the corners getting burned. It will be just the overall run defense of the team that maybe didn't get tested last year. Like, remember, they got off to such hot starts in the first quarter, just, put a lot of points on the board quickly. So teams had to drop back against this Flores defense. The pass rush really, killed them, killed opponents. Like, if the offense takes a step back, then will the defense in turn, was the defense kind of relying on, how many points the offense was putting up and relying on opposing offenses chasing points? Because with these corners gone and with the Harrison Phillips trade, who is their best nose tackle, right? Like, is it possible to, get in a heavier personnel and run the ball against these guys? You can isolate the corners in the run fit if you go with like a nub tight end or something like that. Maybe some of these perimeter toss plays. Like, I'm worried about that with this cornerback room. If, again, the offense takes any kind of big step back with McCarthy.
I think 20 is crazy. I think you're
20 is crazy. I'm a crazy guy. But yeah, I don't know.
Who else do you have around that area?
I have the Broncos around that area, and I have, it's just some of the teams I guess I'm lower on. I have the Bears in that range a little bit higher, honestly. I think I don't know. Maybe
Who do you
I'm
think
crazy.
is going to be good, man?
Wait, you have the Bears above the Vikings and Broncos?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. They got the weapons, bro. DJ Moore gonna bounce back. Loveland, they can spread it all around. They got an acceptable defense. Caleb is better than JJ McCarthy. Who do I think is going to be good? I think the Jaguars are going to be good. I'm with you on the Cardinals, Matt. I think that they can be good.
Okay, all right.
They've added pass rushers.
You're winning
They're
me
up.
back.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardinals. I'm feeling a little bit better about my Cardinals take. And you know what? I've been out on Murray. Now I'm back in.
You're back in.
I'm back
good.
in.
Yeah, he's just
Murray.
not as much of a liability as like Twitter says. I think they're balanced right on offense. They can run it, they can throw it, and their problem was just like they had to get out of the basement on defense, which I think they kind of started to do. And now that they've gotten Nolan and Josh Sweat especially, I think that they actually have some teeth. And maybe Will Johnson can be good. Blaiden is always right. Something I've learned. So maybe Will Johnson is.
Get ready to learn Will Johnson, buddy.
So I'm in on the Cardinals. I'm in on the Raiders. Some of these guys just push the established teams down the board. But the Vikings are always good when I think they'll be bad, and then bad when I think they'll be good. That tends to be the Vikings' MO. So they'll probably win the Super Bowl or whatever.
They might.
Yeah, only if Brosmer starts, though.
Theo, you are drastically against the consensus ranking on Blaiden.com right now, which has the Vikings in the top 10 and the Broncos right outside. But also they hate the Cardinals, so
I'll save some of my stuff about this for the next episode when we talk about potential playoff teams that will make it, and potential playoff teams from last year that'll miss, and potential playoff teams, non-playoff teams from last year that'll make it.
Yeah, let's not take my future projection for the Vikings and apply it to these moves. I think these moves have been more or less fine, and I do think they can get away with a weaker corner room than some people expect. Maybe they can't. Maybe it'll get picked on. Maybe it'll cost them in a big game. But they've got the scheme, and I just want people to understand the reason of why, like, you can take it from me, a Packers fan, and who got swept by them last year, right? It seems like it would be easy to just pick on these guys, but it's not. It's easier said than done. It's way easier said than done. So, yeah.
fair enough. And then Amari Cooper back on the Raiders, baby. He's home. Just like
because Jacoby said that he wanted to be traded. He requested a trade, and they immediately signed Cooper.
Hey, got to do what you got to do, man. He's home. It is crazy though, because we're big Jacoby Myers fans. You and I, Theo. I won't speak for Matt there, but
I don't think he's as effective in fantasy. I think as you guys are, but I don't think he's a bad receiver. I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
It'd be bad if the Raiders lost him. I'm worried about the receivers straight up. Myers is the only guy that we know to be good. They've got some options. Like I'm interested to see what Thornton does, and
I guess
same with Bash. But
why is Myers wanting out?
Money. He has no guaranteed money left on his deal. Which, chill out, dude. You're going to hit your incentives. Gino is that guy. You're going to hit your incentives and more. You're going to hit him and more.
Maybe this is concerning. Maybe he doesn't trust Gino.
Oh, yeah.
Buddy, you can sell your Offensive Player of the Year trophy for thousands. Chill out.
Chill out.
An Offensive Player of the Year.
Chill. Your ring is gonna pay for it, bro. It's gonna be fine. It guarantees you're guaranteed to hit your incentives, bro.
It's I mean, I would ask for more. Cooper, first off, I don't think I'm particularly high on what Cooper has left in the tank, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think Myers being gone would be bad. I think even if you have Brock Bowers, it would be nice to have other proven guys. And I think there's real risk of the Raiders not throwing as many times as they did last year. So their fantasy players, I don't dislike, but I also don't say like he finished 24th in points, or 24th in like points per game in fantasy. How could he possibly do any worse this upcoming year with a better quarterback? I think that they could throw less. I think it could be a different offense. I think they could have Ashton Jinty and say, we want to run the ball a lot because our running back is so good. But I don't know.
They're gonna, if they run it more, it's because Bowers has 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. You feel me?
Okay. So they'll first. You're right. First they'll throw 2 touchdowns.
First they'll throw to get the privilege of running and chewing the clock with Genty. When Pete Carroll had Geno for those 2 seasons, they were 6th in early down pass rate. He wants to air it out. They say Geno, they want to air it out. But they could airing it out with a 4th rounder as your starter, which was Thornton, is a little scary. It's a little bit less scary.
Yeah, but he's goated, bro. He's goated.
He's not that goated. He's a 4th rounder, deep threat who doesn't separate that at an elite. He hasn't proven to separate at any kind of elite level or even a good level, right? My
fantasy team needs him to be good.
He's known as a deep threat, and now Amari Cooper is there to add a little bit of stability to the room. Now, if Thornton makes it clear that he's better, it won't be a big deal. But it's just bad to rely on a day 3 rookie. It's bad to have that as a starter. And now that's not the case. And it allows Besh when it's fantasy football season and you're on Twitter, you got to plant your flag for like random ass skill position players. And there's the Besh group and the Thornton group, and Thornton group got to enjoy training camp and, think they had the next big thing. But Besh group, we waited, we bided our time. And now look at us. We're in the same exact spot Thornton heads.
Okay.
I guess. I don't think anything's been proven at all. I don't know if anybody's won anything yet, but
the Thornton fan club thought that they had struck gold and that Besh was getting written off. And I not so fast. You took your victory laps like Now we're in the same boat. We're both hoping that we get we cut out some playing time. Any at all.
Tesla heads.
Y'all are up right now. Isaac Tesla heads are up big time. They traded Tim Patrick to the Jaguars. Tim Patrick's is a good role player. He can block. He's reliable with his hands. I think he's a good wide receiver for Jacksonville. And if Tesla is really that good, like, hell yeah, get him on the field over Tim Patrick. Fuck blocking. We want go ball touchdowns.
Insane, bro. It's going to be so good.
But what can Tesla do that Jake Bobo can't, though? That's my question. Is Tesla really that guy?
I think he's a particular type of weapon. I agree that his route running is bad, but he pretty clearly is a great athlete and has good hands. And
yeah.
I think there's like... I mean, look, I wasn't like that big Tesla guy pre-draft or anything, but I can watch him play in preseason and say, all right, yeah, like he's not a crazy route runner. Him getting in and out of his breaks isn't crazy. But like, that's not the role they're asking him to fill, clearly.
Yeah, right.
That's not what they're going to ask him to be. There's an archetype he's trying to fill, and it's not exactly like Wes Welker or, Devontae Adams or whatever. So.
Yeah, if he's Marquez Valdez-Scantling with the best hands in football, you're good, which is kind of what
he's good in
like.
MVS. That would be awesome.
If he's MVS but good, if he's
MVS just signed with the Niners, Watson's a good comp. If he's Watson that can catch, that's a big time. That's a big time player.
Right. So, I don't think they're in that bad of a position.
No, I think
him being like a real player that they
he looked good. He looked good. He was snatching the ball. It looked violent the way he was catching the ball. He's like taking it and ripping it out of the air.
He has great hands. Like really.
I don't think he dropped a single pass. I did my scouting report on him where I ultimately concluded he wasn't worth the pick. But I was his hands are amazing
on him. But
yes.
It was a little pricey, but I thought he looked good in preseason.
Yeah. If he ends up being really good, we won't care that they paid 2/3 for him.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, you're a big picking Blaiden. That's the exact kind of thing you want to have happen, especially since we did the draft before cut day. So like 2 of my players got cut.
Yeah,
maybe next year we'll do it after cut day. Because I was thinking like you do a regular draft, you wait until preseason's over, and then you draft because there's nothing else that's going to happen. But if you're playing in a 32 team league, you will draft players who don't even make the roster. And if you let it auto draft, it'll just start picking like whoever for you, bro. I got
Justin Tucker.
I picked Justin Tucker because I set it down to 10 seconds per pick towards the end, because otherwise draft is going to take like 3 hours and nobody has the stamina for that. And then I like scrolled on my desktop. I didn't realize I was going. So it picked a player for me. It picked Justin Tucker. I didn't have a kicker. There were real kickers who are in the league on the board. Yeah. So I have no idea what's wrong with Sleeper there. Eventually Sleeper gets to the point where it's like you can have Cam Newton. Here's Ben Bryant, who was like Cincinnati's QB 3 years ago. Not Cincinnati Bengals, Cincinnati Bearcats.
Tom Brady is still in.
Yeah, which, you know, like I'm sure they do just like for fun. And look, nothing wrong with that. But please auto draft players who are currently in the league for me if we're gonna do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The last
we want to talk about?
The Shuck got named the Saints starter. Shuck did not get named the Saints starter. Rattler got named the Saints starter.
Oh my gosh, yes. Insane.
Look, it's insane, but I do think Rattler looked better this preseason. So it's not that insane, but maybe it is insane to take Shuck at 40.
It's insane from the perspective, though, that they drafted him in the 2nd round.
They spent a pretty big pick on him not to just play him. If they had spent a 1st-round pick on a guy, it would be crazy not to just go ahead and put him in. No, especially somebody who's older. So, I mean, to me, it's kind of a bummer. I'd like to see what Shuck just has. I think you should just play these guys because I'll tell you this. New Orleans is going to be in a position, almost certainly it seems, at the end of the year where they have an option to draft like a really good prospect at QB. There's a lot of guys who have the potential to be serious 1st-round consideration dudes if even a few of them pan out, and New Orleans is around how good we project them to be. They could be selecting one. That means that you get probably just this year to see how good Shuck is. And don't leave that up for like the last 2 games or whatever, where maybe he plays like okay. And then you're like, well, probably wouldn't stop them from still taking a QB anyway. But if you're going to spend the 40th overall pick, yeah, I think you should give him a chance. Rattler might be a little bit better. I'm not like super offended by it one way or the other, right? But yeah, I think.
No, I just think it's like, it's a little bit different than even the Giants, where they gave up more than just the pick that they drafted Dart with. But I don't think they necessarily have to start Dart right away because they have Russell Wilson there. And also, if you start Russell Wilson, or if you're Dable, like we talked about before, and you start Dart right away, and he ends up being like really, really bad, and you start off 0-6, you could lose your job. Right? I don't think you have the same sort of. I don't think you have the same problem with the Saints because you might just be bad anyway.
Yeah, Rattler went 0-6 last year. He didn't make the playoffs.
So it's like
Russ.
why not just put in Shuck? Like, I mean,
I'm assuming they think.
If you just think he's bad, like you're just like he hasn't played well.
Well, I mean, I think they're in a situation where they just feel like Rattler's a better QB right now. I have no question about that, and they're like, we want to win. We don't want to lose. That's our goal. Even if I could survive a 3-14 season because it's my first year, they're not going to choose to do that. But from like a little bit more of a zoomed out perspective, yeah, it is different to bench Dart for week 1 in favor of like a veteran bridge quarterback versus having some other young guy who I don't think looked all that good when he played last season start over your new young guy that you spent a lot of capital on, especially somebody who is like 25 years old and hypothetically should be a little bit more ready to go. So I mean, yeah, I'm not like super stoked about it. I would have been more interested to see Shuck, but uh, like we talked about earlier, he didn't look that great in preseason, so maybe they want to give him a little bit more time before they throw him out there. If they went the entire year and they were bad and they stuck with Rattler and they didn't put Shuck in at all, that would be crazy. Then I would really question either he has to be truly horrible or they're just like not thinking about seeing what you have when there's a point in the season where you want to do that. But for now, I kind of shrug my shoulders at it more than anything else.
Shuck to me, or Rattler to me, sorry. He's got some really high-end tools, and I think those all were on display in the preseason. And the thing that stood out the most to me about him was just the accuracy and the arm talent. Like, there are some really high-end throws that he made where he took leverage into account. Like, there's somebody crossing the middle of the field. There's a guy in front of him waiting to hit him. Like, let me put it on his back shoulder over the middle so as to avoid the hit. Or there's a comeback route and he's working back towards me. I'm going to put it in just the right spot, right on the sideline where he can tap the toes and there's no way the corner can make a play on it. Or, like, he just was like, I was time after time, I was like, there's not a lot of misses here, or he's putting it in such a specific spot where it's, he's thinking about the corners, he's thinking about where they can get to and putting the ball in just the right place. So I was impressed with Rattler this preseason to some extent. That plus the way he's just able to move around is a little bit better than Shuck, I think. But he also probably turned down some throws and has I'm going to play make by myself gene that is probably a little bit more severe and will get him more in trouble than Shuck does. Like, but I'm not mad. I'm not going to be mad watching Rattler and seeing what he can do when Bub Means isn't his wide receiver one. Like, he played last year with just a ravaged Saints team, like completely different than the one we saw.
That's not unfair.
Of the season. So I'm a little bit excited for it, but it doesn't. The process isn't making a ton of sense, and it's tough for me to see how they like land this plane in a satisfying way where it's like you said, Matt, if they're bad and they got the opportunity to draft Garrett Nussmeier, in the top of the next draft, are they going to take it with, and then you're not going to really know about Shuck and you just sent this 40th pick on, like, it doesn't feel like it's going to have a real satisfying conclusion, but I'm excited to see Rattler.
It would be a total waste of a pick if they don't play him at all.
Yeah.
And they're bad.
Yeah.
Like, so.
But if they're bad enough to take Nussmeier, I guess Shuck would probably make an appearance pretty quick. I mean, Rattler's leash cannot be long.
No. No.
I would hope not. But if that's all.
We already talked about Ohio State, Texas, I feel like a bit ago. Prediction. The prediction is that they're going to lose because they're starting a guy that's never, or Ohio State is going to lose because they're starting a brand new quarterback.
I think it's just a tough game. I mean, Texas is a really good football team. I don't think it's impossible. Like, if Sayin comes out and he's solid, like, yeah, I mean, they could go up against anybody, but I just think it's brutal to have him starting his very first game, like his very first reps, basically, against one of the best teams in the country, even if he does have great weapons. My hope for OSU this year is that even if they lose game one, Sayin can grow and improve and hopefully turn into a real positive. Not like, well, his receivers are so good that if he can just not like nuke everything, then it should be okay. Like, no, the Ohio State has the best weapons in college football. It would be cool if they had the best passing offense in college football. That should be the bar for them, really.
Yeah.
That should be the hope. Now, I'm not saying they necessarily have to do that, but the real goal here is, even if you lose to, Texas, even if you lose to Penn State, who I think is probably the best they've been in a long time, and that's going to be a brutal game as well, you got to beat Michigan. If they lose those two games and beat Michigan, that's a win. And if you go 10-2 beating Michigan and your two losses are against Penn State and Texas, and they're about as good as you think, you're probably in the playoff anyway. So I think the goal is this is probably a little bit more of a reloading year when you lose, 15 guys in the draft, but hopefully not too much.
Hopefully not too much. This is the biggest.
You should still be better than Michigan because they were better on paper than Michigan last year.
dude, Downs and Jeremiah Smith alone should make you better than like just about every other team outside of Texas, I think. But this is definitely the most home field advantage could ever help you, I think, is Ohio State being.
Yeah, no. Now, if they were going to Texas, and I'd be like, poor, like that's not gonna work. Like this poor guy is starting his first game. It's, I understand. These guys are good players, but how would you have done at what, like 20 years old, 19? I mean, we're 24 now. I mean, I wouldn't do good now.
I would have been incredible. I would be incredible now.
So. Yeah.
You know that gif or that video of the guy with the shaking hands? I think I would totally do that if you put me in week 1, my first rep against Texas. And I see that Colin Simmons guy that Texas has, the edge rusher. That dude's incredible. That dude's a complete monster. I would probably just, I'd keel over entirely. So
yeah, no, my legs would be feeling weak, like holding my helmet.
I'm imagining OSU with Theo Ash out there. That would be awesome.
They're telling me the play call. I'm like, what? And then I'm guessing in the huddle. I'm like, guys, I didn't really get it. The play clock.
I didn't hear him. I don't know.
I spiked it to stop the clock. Man. Yeah, no, it would not be good. It would it would be so scary. Like being a football quarterback is so scary. I don't know how anybody does it. Like, yeah, obviously there's the communication of it all, reading the defense, like being confident in your diagnosis, like making whatever adjustments. Like it just the pocket's getting crushed. It would be so scary. So I'm glad that he's at least at home, and hopefully the fans will be respectful. But they probably won't even be respectful at Ohio State because they'll be down like 7-0, and then Ryan Day's address will be chanted throughout the entire stadium while the team is on offense.
There is so much hype in Columbus right now for this game. Like every single bar is having like some crazy party.
Yeah,
because it's a huge game.
It's like I see flyers for like the frats at OSU. They're throwing parties for the game. It's absolutely
likely thing for them to
likely thing for an Ohio State.
They're throwing a yeah. I bet.
It's like everyone is throwing a party.
I have a prediction. They'll do the same for Penn State. I'm going to that game.
You're going to the Penn State game?
I'm going to the Penn State game.
You should. Don't stop by and say hi to your boy.
It's gonna be. Probably will. Okay. I'm super pumped for it. I think if Penn State doesn't get him this year, they're never going to get him. That's my take. I mean,
James Franklin will be his address actually.
James Franklin is the same as Ryan Day.
If OSU loses a close one to Texas, I actually don't think OSU fans would be that upset. I mean, they'd be like, pissed, but I think they'll be like, you tried your best, Ryan Day. It's cool. We get it.
I think so.
They lose to Michigan again?
If they lose to Michigan, then it'll be bad.
If they lose to Michigan, he might
right?
He might get assassinated.
No, it's on the road. It was home last year.
Was it home? Oh, yes, that's right. Okay.
Y'all are a feisty bunch, though. All right. Yeah, that's the truth, is that you guys are Ohio State fans, and I get losing to Michigan so many times has definitely been agitating. But like, holy cow, if there's one head coach that I would not want to be is I would hate to be an Ohio State head coach. And
I would really love to see what would happen if Alabama lost a game to Auburn like that. What would the reaction? It would be they'd pat him on the neck and say, "It's all right, bro."
It would be the same. I think it would have been more vicious with Saban there.
I don't know.
You Ohio fans in general are like kind of psychotic. Like you Ohioans, like the Shador going to the Browns was like a big thing for the discourse that's happening right now, because like Cleveland people are just kind of like that. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like y'all are just
George Sanders
yappers.
The Sanders dick writers are just absurd, man.
I feel like every person born in Ohio could be like a sports talk radio host. Like they're just the average Ohio State fan is like is like Skip Bayless.
The real thing that would make, especially being like a big time college quarterback, like Ohio State, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, whatever, is that you're like 19, 20 years old and you're the starting quarterback and all your fans are like 50 and 60.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I feel like
what sucks about it is there is more pressure on the quarterback for OSU than there is on the quarterback for the Jets.
Yeah.
Not even a question.
That's not.
I would say I'd say that's true for probably at least 20 NFL teams. And those guys are still not compensated fairly, right? Compared to the NFL counterparts. Truly. Like, dude, Ohio State QB is one of the most stressful jobs. And I'd say that's true for a couple other college football spots as well. I don't think that's just OSU exclusive. But yeah, I mean, you guys, did we talk about this? You guys were being hateful about college football on the very first day it was back. You guys just do not get it.
Me? I didn't. What did I do?
You said I won't watch this slop and muck when Iowa State, Kansas State was on. You said,
I did watch that. Why did I?
You said
I said it was
sucks.
fumble slop.
You said this sucks. I hate football. And I said,
I don't think that is what I said.
I guess I just like football in any form.
Game.
I guess I'm just a really good football fan. That's what I said.
College slop. It was college slop. But college.
It was a sloppy game because it was a rain game. I've seen the people love the Bears.
I'm not saying that derogatory.
Game. Many were
rain slop. Maybe it wasn't college slop. It was rain slop.
Bad weather slop. Yeah.
Bad weather.
But y'all love college slop. Like when there's like missed field goals and fumbles and like teams fumbling snaps and
it's
whatnot.
It's the perfect balance.
College slop.
You know what I forgot, and I forget this every year, and then I remember it. The NFL does not have the bands. The bands add so much to the college games. The atmosphere of the college football games are so much better.
Brass slop.
Okay, then NFL is just sight slop. Then you're seeing it. We can't narrow this down to the five senses, bro.
There's not one NFL team that played in a mall, so
there are NFL teams that play.
There's not one college team that plays in a mall. I mean,
yes.
Right.
That's a point.
It adds something. College atmosphere is better and it's super important. And I see what you're saying. Like, you know, there's some bad college football on. But first
I was kidding. I thought it was a good game. I did.
You hated it. You hate it all.
I hate it. A bad college football game is 63-7. Not bad.
That's not what I took from your text. So that's not how you said it, I guess.
Tuning into action all year, baby.
See, I'm not tuning into that much action. I'll be real with you.
Why not?
That's because
you're not a sicko. You're not a sicko.
I'm not, truly.
Bro doesn't actually love college football.
Sicko slop.
There is such thing as sicko slop, where it's like, you know, I'll put on the Mac if it's the game on like a Tuesday. Okay, I can watch some Mac football then. Saturday, it's probably not.
That's
in
what Maction is. Tuesday night Maction. That's.
I thought you just meant Mac games in general.
Oh well, the purity and the aura of Maction is that it's like a weird night to watch football. I feel like
that is true. It is funny to watch football on a Tuesday. I'll give them that. But like, I'm not watching FCS ball. Sorry. I think Power 4 college football is a great blend of like skilled enough to do interesting things and be watchable, but still young enough to like make mistakes that make it more exciting. And the atmosphere is way better for college football, and the tradition is way better too.
It'll always be Power 5 in my head, but yeah.
Fair enough. Travis Kelce got engaged as well. That was the thing that we missed. And we realized that as soon as we stopped recording, so we're going to tack on a little 45-minute segment about that.
45-minute segment. I saw a TikTok of a professor, and he was like, we were supposed to have a biochem midterm today, but Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift got engaged. I can't think about anything else. You can't think about anything else. Class is canceled. Have a great day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I can definitely take a test. I can definitely think about something else.
But also, love is more important than anything else.
And that's the truth. That's the real truth. I think this is really, I love this for the just the whole anti-Taylor Swift agenda of like, bro, she only writes songs that are like evil and she hates men. Like, this is great for like combating that whole agenda. And I think her new album's gonna be like very good against that as well. I think it's actually gonna be quite good because she doesn't have who's the guy that produced the last record? Antonov, whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like his production. I think it worked for Midnight, but I thought it was really bad for Tortured Poets. And based on, I was looking up the producer for this record, and he's done a lot. I cannot remember like the records he's done, but he's done a lot of really good stuff. So if you get the chance, look up who's producing the current Taylor Swift record and his previous discography. It's some good stuff in there. So I think it'll be a good record. I'm excited for it. Although he does kind of have he has a bit of a trick that he likes to use a lot. It's just like the way that he has these like drum stops that he loves. And I noticed that happened a lot. So you might hear those a lot in this album, but we'll see.
Thank you for the producer breakdown. I will be listening closely for drum stops.
Thing that I did, because I was like, dude, if Antonov is producing again, I'm not listening.
I am excited for the crossover of people at their wedding. Like,
I'm pretty interested to see about the wedding.
I want to see the wedding. Like, who is going to?
It's good for UC's brand, all of it. So I'm a fan of this. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
A UC player being wildly famous, we'll take it.
She's a billionaire, so this will affect UC's recruiting.
That's pretty much
probably
the only thing me and my Cincinnati guys talk about is how is this leveraged into
the Taylor
Cincinnati
Swift Stadium? It's going to be renamed from Taylor Swift.
Dude, they should. Who even was Nipper?
That would be an awesome. Well, he was a guy who played and he died because in like 1923 because he got stepped on with a cleat and there was like something that infected it. I forget what exactly, but he died.
Damn.
And then like it was named after him because like one of his family members is like part of Procter and Gamble or whatever and is like crazy rich or something like that. Really, really well summed up for the podcast, but Taylor could easily outbid that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should quote tweet like the Cincinnati Barstool account and ask, should we rename?
Should we rename?
Taylor?
That would be good.
That would be a great bit.
Dying because you got infected in 1923 is not noble enough to prevent $1 billion flowing into the program.
Yeah, she'll go on another tour and the tour will pay for the new stadium.
Right. But like, man, it's going to be like Noah Gray and Matt Nagy are going to be at the wedding. And like, so is like Lord and like Lana Del Rey.
Yeah,
we're getting the... it'll be Lord and Andy Reid. That'll be good.
Lord and Andy Reid are going to be.
Andy Reid are hooking up at the wedding. What are we talking?
It's just good for football to be in the pop culture zeitgeist like this. So it's good for all of us.
Yeah. But that was the last thing that we wanted to talk about. As soon as we stopped the record.
Well, what do you think of their caption?
What was the caption?
Teacher marries, what is it? Art teacher or
your English teacher is marrying the gym teacher.
Yeah.
It's like the caption.
I thought that was pretty clever. I thought that
what? That's the worst caption ever, bro.
You didn't like it? I thought
that's a terrible fucking caption.
I thought it was really funny that like Travis Kelce's IG handle is just like kill a trap.
Yes.
I think that's so funny, bro.
The English teacher is marrying the gym teacher.
I think that's funny. It's just like two people that, you know, the fellas like. I don't know. It's like some people like the gym teacher more. Some people like the English teacher more. Like, I don't know.
Why are they high school? Why are they high school teachers? Like, what is? I don't understand.
I didn't think about that, but now that you've said it, that does make it a little weird.
I just didn't get it. I didn't get why it was funny. I didn't. I
don't
just
know.
didn't
It's
quite
probably more
understand.
relatable though than like your chemistry professor marries your.
Plus, Kelce doesn't give like gym teacher.
You don't think a little bit?
No, he gives like. I don't know. I don't know what they give, but a gym teacher, no.
Okay, never mind.
He gives. I don't know, if he wasn't a football player, what was his job be? Like he just seems more like a DJ. Like, you know,
I don't know. I feel like he could be if he wasn't playing football. I don't know.
he would be a good gym teacher. I just don't know if he gives, like, most gym teachers aren't like. I liked the tweet where it was Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, and they said the gym teachers marrying the English teacher, because I'm like, those are the two archetypes I think about a little bit more. So.
Your gym teacher's like some old fat guy.
Yes.
My gym teacher wasn't an old fat guy, but
fair enough.
I don't know.
My gym teacher was an adult. And he came in and talked to us about it one day. They sat us down and they're like, "Here are the warning signs, and we're going to bring in Mr. Davis to talk about the warning signs of being a cult." Okay, yeah. I don't think I'm going to have to deal with that, but fine.
Real. Okay. But thank you all again for tuning in to another episode of Stay Hot. And as always, we'll catch you on the flippity flop.